Well, I figured do a little coal stove update. We got this out in the living room. I've had this for a couple years. It's an estate Heatrolla. Now, we're running nut size anthracite, and that's pretty warm. So I'll take you the old 523. So the old 523 got a, DuPont special here, just to, clean it up a little bit. But what we got in here, I got her chewing on some wood that I sawed with my buzzsaw in a previous video that I put together. And I also have about half of a 5-gallon bucket of bituminous coal. It's not going to get too cold tonight, but what I want to do is run both these stoves at the same time. So we're bringing up the bituminous. She's being a little lazy right now, but that's what we're chewing on underneath the bit coal. So she's coming around. But yeah, I picked up another one of these this past weekend, and I believe it's a newer model, because this one, the top's cracked. I tried to repair it, hack jaw welding there, and welding cast, and not having the right rods, and I did it when it was hot. I warmed the stove up pretty hot, and all I had was some 6011 rods, and tried to just seal that crack up. But that's what we're working with right now. And what I was told, we're going to see how this works. This is a 2000 degree primer, and then gray primer, and then 2000 degree flat black, high heat. They say not to use like grill paint, but this is what everybody was recommending on the NEPA Crossroads when I was just kind of, it's for headers, manifolds, and stuff like that. You definitely want something over 2100 degrees, or what is it, 1700 degrees. So that should suffice. I just gonna be interested to see what happens to the top. See, now the bit coal's starting to take off pretty good in there now, just a little bit on the one side. But you notice I got my over the fire air open just a wee little bit on the bottom to carry that smoke out. And this draft set up this way, when you go outside, it smells like, I've said this before in other videos, it smells like them black snakes you used to light at 4th of July. Now, if I close that, then you really get the sulfur smell. And so this isn't as terrible, but I'm burning bituminous. They call it stoker, but it's more or less like a chestnut nut size in relative comparison to nut size anthracite. So, but yeah, when you got the over the fire, there's a lot less smoke because it's burning it off, burning off the high volatiles. Now, if I close that, we'll open it up real quick. Now it's getting, you see that? So if you keep the combustion air open up here, the over the fire combustion air, it's not going to do that as bad, because it gives the fire more oxygen to burn off the volatiles that are coming off the coal that's being released. But anthracite, that's not what you want to be doing, is running over the fire air. But yeah, I just thought I'd show that one I set up out in the living room to kind of help out when it's mild. I'm not loading this stove up. This is just gonna kind of burn out tonight, not gonna mess with it after the night. Now this weekend might be a different story. So you can get down in the 20s, high 20s, I guess. So we'll see what happens here running 2 stoves. And I think that's what I needed in the house, to have a heat source out in the living room, because all the heat from this stove gets trapped in this room. And I don't know why, I just can't get the heat out fast enough and the cold in to the stove fast enough to replenish the heat that I lose. So, I mean, this thing's in here chooching along. She'll be up 700-800 degrees on the barrel, and it's like you're sitting on the beach in here, but you walk out into the kitchen and it's right back to Pennsylvania, you know what I'm saying? So, but like I say, this place was built in 78 and it's pretty drafty. But I've kind of remedied some of the things that was causing that. So hopefully it's a little different this year with the heat situation. But yeah, we're just poking around with the coal stoves tonight.